Hello and welcome to Create Wealth Doing What You Love. I am Elizabeth Winheld of WINC. WINC is Women in Community, and we help heart-centered women create purposeful and profitable businesses so that they can feed their soul and their family. Thank you so much for being here today. I know that if you are like any women ever in the world, you have a lot of demands on your time. And so I want to get right to it and try to pack the next 60 minutes with as much value as I possibly can. So let's dive in and look at what we will learn today. So I'm going to teach you how a business actually works, meaning what to do in what order and why you can ignore a lot of the hype that you see out there about what you should do or could do. We're going to learn the 4 areas of your business that consistently fuel your bank account. I'm going to teach you WINC's signature system called the engine of your business revenue, which we use still religiously to this day inside our company. We have for 9 years, and we have taught this system to thousands of women around the world. We're going to talk about why you're overwhelmed and how to change this for good. We are going to learn the 2 things that you must spend the majority of your time on if you are not yet making enough money. And plus, if you stay with us till the end, you're going to learn how to diagnose which parts of your business are keeping you from making money. So I'm so excited to share all this with you. And next, I want to talk about how this workshop is different than other workshops out there. First and foremost, I hear from women again and again that they are like shocked and surprised that they got a ton of value from this free workshop. It is not fluff. It's not like a lot of the other workshops out there. And so I'm excited to share all that value with you as well. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about how a business works. We're not going to talk about some flash in the pan, big glamorous online techniques like 7-figure launches, blah, 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 evergreen this. We're not going to do that because we have seen with the women that we work with, the women that we specialize in helping, are women that are still trying to get to 50 or 100K in their business. And we built our business to 6 figures without being on social media every day, without spending a lot of money on online advertising. In fact, we didn't do any advertising budget until I believe year 6 of our business. We never have spent a lot of time generating lots and lots of free content. And we did this all with a pretty simple website. We're now on our 3rd iteration of our website, but we built to 6 figures with a really simple website. And so I hope that what you learned today is going to be really relevant for your business right now, today, and that you can then relax a little about these online techniques that you're hearing a lot about in this online space that we have seen actually distract women from getting to that first 50 or 100K. So before we get into the content, let's all take a moment to get rid of all distractions. So put your phone in airplane, close your email, try not to multitask. Really, nothing could be more important for your business right now than learning how to make consistent money. So bring your full attention here and let's take 3 mindful breaths together so that we can really ground and focus so that I'm really clear in my teaching and you're really receptive to learning and integrating this information. So go ahead and close your eyes and gently close your mouth, and let's just inhale together through the nose all the way to the bottom of the pelvis. And exhale, release anything no longer serving you. Inhaling again through the nose, feeling the whole torso expand in 360 degrees. And exhale, letting your shoulders drop and your body get a little heavier. One more time, inhaling as big of an inhale as you can. And on your last exhale, you can make a sound if you want. Exhale through the mouth. And just let everything go so that we can fully arrive here together. Beautiful. I know that you and me and women around the world are creating an economic revolution with our businesses. You may not feel like it in this moment, but you truly are an economic revolution, and you can create that for your family and for your community. Likewise, your business is also a cultural revolution. I know we each have our roles to play in making a better future for people, plants, animals, and for the earth. And what you're doing really, truly matters. And our passion here at WINC is to help you fuel your mission, your purpose with money so that you can continue to do it and that the world can have the healing and transformation you're here to bring. So you may not feel like an economic or cultural revolution in this moment, and that is so natural. You're so in the right place and you are so not alone. If maybe you feel like you are exhausted and drowning in the thousands of things you could do or should do to make your business grow. Maybe you have been trying to create your business on blood, sweat, and tears and sheer grit, and you have no support and no business training. Perhaps you tend to avoid looking at your money and your numbers. Again, you're not alone if you do, but it's very hard to make more money by avoiding money. And perhaps you have been keeping busy, hoping and praying that if you're busy enough, that the random things that you are doing will eventually produce great results in your business. If any of these resonate, again, you're so not alone, and I'm excited to teach you what I have to share with you today because I know you're going to feel differently when you leave. So let's get into it. I'm going to turn off my video so that I can make the slides larger for you, and let's dig in. So here we are. This is the basis of our four-part system, the engine of your business revenue. So what I'm going to teach you today, as I mentioned, is the exact system that we developed that took WINC from basically zero to a six-figure business in 12 months. And since then, we have tested this system with thousands of women in workshops like this, and we have worked in depth with hundreds of women to implement this system through WINC's 90-day program. And these are women from all types of businesses, you know, energy workers, candle makers, health coaches, graphic designers, et cetera, et cetera. And they are using the engine and using WINC's training to create the business and the life that they really want. They're hitting their revenue goals. We see women growing 2x, 3x, even 10x in as little as 6 to 12 months. So disclaimer here, this of course is not every single woman, and this is not a get rich quick strategy. All the women who see amazing results with WINC put in a lot of time, a lot of energy, both strategically and emotionally. But we do see really powerful results with this system with different types of businesses and different stages of business. So we are excited to share it with you today. So the engine of your business revenue. This is where the money comes from. This system is a framework. So it is a set of chronological steps. You're going to know what to do in what order. It is also a system. So all four of these parts are highly interrelated. There's a system inside each step, and they all run together as a larger system to make the car go, so to speak. And last but not least, this is a diagnostic tool. It's going to help you identify what some underlying issues might be when you have a surface level problem that you want to troubleshoot in your business. So we'll look at that towards the end. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to help you get an idea of the entire framework, understand how it works together as a system, and show you some common problems inside each area so that you're really clear where you need to focus. So this system is extremely distilled. I like to say that it is simple, but certainly not easy. Simple to understand, but not necessarily easy to implement. But it is distilled down to really the only 4 things that need to be answered for if you want to make more money. So if you're in that camp, here's where you want to focus. So at the bottom, you'll see number 1, which is our foundation. That's what we're going to look at first. And then you'll see 2, 3, and 4 in this lovely golden triangle. And they work together in a cyclical fashion. So you'll see all that towards the end. We're going to start with our foundation here, revenue model and goals. So our foundation of our engine is our revenue model and goals. And point blank bottom line here is that if we're going to create a business that you love, that makes fantastic money and serves a lot of people, then we need to get comfortable with some basic number crunching. So what this means is learning to track, analyze, and forecast our business's growth and potential growth through numbers. So if that kind of made you groan or make your stomach turn over with fear, don't worry, you're not alone. A lot of women we work with come in with a lot of fear and resistance around numbers and actually come out the other side really empowered around their numbers. So if you are in the camp of maybe secretly believing that you can create a profitable business while avoiding looking at your numbers, or maybe you have no goals or clarity about how much you want your business to make now and in the future, or maybe if you haven't even quite yet crunched the numbers to know if your business idea is viable, then what that means is that you are building a business on hope rather than strategy. And building any business is risky. And we are all about calculated risks here at WINC. So we want to know that your business has a fighting chance of being successful before you do all the work to build it. So whether you have a new business or whether you are refining a business you have already, it is never too late to do this work. So let's look at some definitions so that you will be set up to build your own revenue model. And can I invite you, right? If you're like, oh no, can I invite you to a future where you can imagine being empowered and savvy with numbers in your business? I know it's possible. I see this transformation all the time with women in our 90-day program. So just bear with me. So let's start with some basic definitions so we're all on the same page. Revenue. Total amount of money your business makes in a given time period. A revenue goal, total amount of money you would like your business to make by a given date. Revenue model. This is a detailed forecast of how your business is going to achieve larger and larger revenue goals over time. What a revenue model is going to show you, it's going to be a calculation of the products and services or services you're going to sell, how many of them you're going to sell, what price you're going to sell these things for, and by when you're going to achieve your revenue goals. So revenue model maps out what you're going to sell, how much it costs, how many you're going to sell, and by when to get you to a certain goal. And so I'm sure there's a really wide spectrum of women here that are at different points in their businesses. But across the board, I think a really great first step, if you haven't yet dived into your numbers, is to do what we call your revenue reality. So first step is to get really clear on where you are with money right now. How much money do you need to support your lifestyle? How much do you spend? How much is your business bringing in? What other revenue streams might you have? What do things cost? What is your credit card bill? What is your interest rate? On and on and on. So it's really crucial before we even get into setting goals to know why we're setting those goals. We need to ground them in reality and help us get really clear on the tangible benchmarks we are trying to reach. So once we do this, I think a really great first step for women, a great first goal is to create a revenue goal of your business paying for your life. And this is a really big benchmark for a lot of women. And so if you're not there yet, you are not alone, and it's worth celebrating when your business starts paying for your life. So that's a great first goal. And from there, what we want to do is we want to use our revenue model to help us forecast over time how our business is going to grow. It helps us look at when our business model is totally thriving and full with customers, where does that get us financially? Does it get us to our financial goals? So I know this can seem scary, and we hear again and again from women that we work with in the 90-day program, like that they maybe avoided numbers for a very long time, and that actually the fear of looking at the numbers, even if they're sobering, is way less than the fear of avoiding numbers. So I hope you will feel inspired to jump into this work, to roll up your sleeves and take a look at what's happening now and what you'd like to happen in the future. So we work with women to build incremental revenue goals. And why we think this is so important is because you probably have a really big, beautiful vision. And when you are at the base of that mountain, looking at that beautiful summit, it can be really overwhelming to figure out what to do first, or where to go, or which way up the mountain you want to take. So what an incremental revenue model helps you do is create bite-sized steps, incremental milestone goals, so that you can celebrate what you're doing really well instead of always just feeling like you haven't reached the end yet, right? So what the revenue model does is it gives you that very clear idea of the summit of the mountain, and then helps you break it down into bite-sized steps so that you know exactly what you need to do today, exactly what your revenue goals are over the next 3 months with the time you have available and the money you're trying to generate, so that you can gradually get where you need to go, right? Because we can't just do it all in one day. So this can honestly be really fun. It's super surprising for women. Lots of women come in and they're so resistant to doing this work. And they come out the other side and they're like, wow, that was actually really fun. So as I said, I'm going to talk about common problems in each area of the engine so that you can really clearly see where you might have some room for growth. So common problem number one, surprise, surprise, is simply avoiding money and numbers. Maybe you don't know how much your life costs, you're not sure how much you made last year. And for the women in this camp, things often seem to work out, quote unquote, but there's often this low grade anxiety, and there's this dog paddling and like a barely getting by, and any extra unexpected expense just kind of sends her off the deep end. And we see women in that space kind of on the hamster wheel, maybe getting by today, but never actually growing into the life that they deeply want and the revenue that they deeply want. So that's a big one. And let me tell you, it's nearly impossible to attract more money when you are ignoring money. So avoidance of money and numbers, you know if that's you, and I've just given you some great first steps to shift that. Number two is a lack of understanding around your revenue ceiling and how to change it. So one thing that becomes really clear when I get inside a woman's business is I start to see really clearly where the limits of her business model is. And we call that your revenue ceiling. This is the maximum amount of money you can bring in given what you're selling and the amount of time you have. So there are ways when we get into strategically designing your products, which we're going to get to in a moment, there are ways that we can raise that revenue ceiling. And we want to try to raise that revenue ceiling to increase exponentially your earning potential. So common problem there is not getting the revenue ceiling, not seeing how much it's limiting you and your business, and not having, skills and strategies to raise that revenue ceiling. Number three is revenue goals that aren't realistic for your revenue model. A lot of women will come in and they're like, oh yeah, I want to make 6 figures, just because they think that that's, some kind of pie in the sky, that when they get to 6 figures, they're going to have success and happiness and all the things, right? So Oftentimes women haven't actually crunched the numbers to make sure that their goal is realistic given what they're selling and the time they have to work in their business. We mostly work with solopreneurs, and so often your time, your personal time, is one of the biggest factors in your earning potential because you don't have a big team yet. And so this isn't to be underestimated. So let me give you an example here of a revenue goal that's unrealistic given your revenue model. Let's say you're a psychotherapist and arbitrarily you decide 3 years from now, I want to be making $1 million a year. Awesome. Totally believe that a psychotherapist can get to $1 million a year. But let's say that for now, she's only offering private one-to-one sessions. So as it stands now, one-to-one private sessions at an hourly rate, to get to 1 million a year, she would have to work 52 weeks a year, 50 hours a week, and charge nearly $400 per hourly session. So getting to 1 million a year with her current revenue model of selling hourly sessions is not realistic. So we need to have real clarity around this in order to know that we're building a viable business. And last but not least is vagueness. So this is similar to avoidance, but this is a place where maybe you've kind of done a back of the envelope calculation around what your business can make. But there are a lot of other factors to consider. It's not just like I'm working 40 hours a week, and I charge $100 an hour, so that makes I make $4,000 a week, which means I make $16,000 a month. That's awesome. There's lots of other considerations. There are other parts of your business that have to be answered for, and other directions your money has to go than just your bank account. So back of the envelope calculation, I believe, is not enough to take the risk and put in all the work of building a business. So those are our common revenue model problems. I'm going to talk for a minute, do a little case study. I'm going to do one in every area. This is an amazing healer named Kelly. She's a cranial sacral therapist and also a yogi, among other things. And she came to WINC, with a strong instinct that there was something bigger to be born through her, and that she wasn't just going to work with people one-to-one hourly forever. And she was kind of floundering, trying to figure out where to start or how to start. So when we got inside her revenue model, she was able to lift the ceiling on what was possible for her financially and actually develop this pathway, illuminating how over the next few years she could do deeper, she could have deeper offerings, deeply doing the work that she loves, up level her offerings, and craft a business model that would actually produce major financial results for her in her life. And so with that clarity, within just a few months of graduating from our 90-day program, she was actually able to grow her revenue 5 times. And she has beautiful, beautiful offering that she runs now. So revenue model and goals. I cannot state enough how important this is. And as you can see, it's the foundation on which everything else is built. It really informs the things that are to come. Next, we are moving to number 2, part 2 of our engine. And that is product development. So I use the word product, but it's interchangeable with service. So whether you offer physical products or services, this is applicable to you. So number 2, at the bottom of our triangle, is product development. Bottom line here is that businesses sell something. It is by definition what a business does. I know it sounds obvious, but it's great to remind ourselves, because our big job as the CEO, your job as the CEO of your business is to design products or services that your ideal customers really, really want to buy. We want to design things that people really benefit from and are happy to pay us for. And this takes time. It's not as obvious as it seems. And it is very difficult to generate consistent money until we're really, really clear on this piece, on what we sell and who it's for and why people want to buy it and what results it provides for them. So what are we selling? I know you probably did not get into your business to sell something. I know that you weren't like, oh gosh, I want to sell. But I will say that no matter how passionate you are or how fantastic you are at what you do, it's very difficult to have a successful business until you have a deep understanding of what you are selling. And particularly if you are a solopreneur and you're striving to reach larger and larger revenue goals, chances are you need to sell some things that are expensive, which means you have to be really clear on who they're for and why that person really wants to buy them. Okay, so do you know what you're selling? You might think you sell necklaces or you might think you sell massages, but this is deeper than that. If you struggle to talk clearly and confidently or write clearly and confidently about what you do, chances are you're not yet totally clear on what you're selling. If you think you're selling your modality or your training, your degrees, then you're not yet sure what you're selling. If you have trouble answering for the specific person you work with and what you help them get, you have room to grow in this area. And lastly, if you feel like you do lots of different things for lots of different people and it depends on what they need, then you very likely do not know yet what you're selling strategically. So common problems, as you may have guessed, our first common problem in product development is that you simply don't yet know what your business sells. So if you hear excuses like, oh, I can't afford it all the time, or you feel like you're selling something that sounds nice to have, then what that means is that your product or service is not yet solving a big enough problem. Now, we all work really hard for our money, and so we want to allocate our resources to things that are going to make a big difference in our life. So that means either they help us with a big problem or they help us fulfill a huge desire. So if you're often hearing those excuses of like, oh, I can't afford it, or oh, that sounds lovely, chances are you haven't yet gotten to that big problem or that big desire that you help someone with. So how are you really helping them transform their life? If you're trying to sell something that sounds nice to have, it can be a really hard sell. And this problem desire is proportionate to your price point. So if you're selling for something for $5, it doesn't have to sell a humongous problem. If you're selling, it doesn't have to solve a humongous problem. If you are selling something for $5,000, you better bet that needs to transform someone's life for them to invest in it. So I haven't told you much about myself because I want to just get through this content and give you as much value as possible. But I'm going to use myself here as an example. So I came to WINC as a student 6 years ago when I had a really full, busy business. And I felt like a chicken with my head cut off. I was suffering from the last couple things on this list here. I had too many multiple product offerings that were disconnected. I was always working when I wasn't mothering my toddler. And when I came to a WINC workshop in Boulder, Colorado, taught by WINC founder Micah McLaughlin, I would have paid her anything because I was really clear that she could help me solve my problem. And I'm sure you've all had a similar experience that when we see something that we know is really going to transform our life in a way that really matters to us, we're ready to allocate those resources. So moving down to number 3, you have multiple product offerings that are all disconnected. If your services page is a mile long, chances are you need more clarity around what you're selling because people probably feel exhausted before they even get to work with you. And 4, if you are chained to your desk or your massage table 24/7 and you feel like you're not making money unless you're with a customer, then there is certainly room for you to improve in strategic product development. So inside WINC's 90-day program, we teach women a really robust way of creating strategic products so that you're offering your customers a lot more value, you can charge more, and you can leverage your time more so that you can raise that revenue ceiling. Very exciting. So great news is that when we learn how to strategically develop our product offerings, everything else gets easier. Talking about your business, writing about your business, generating sales, getting people to say yes, you really loving the work that you're doing, and your customers really loving working with you. And what also happens in product development and the way we teach it is we actually teach women how to build their lifestyle into their business. So when we strategically design our product offerings, we can strategically create the life that we want to live. So next I want to share a case study here around product development. This is Monique Halm, and Monique teaches women how to invest in real estate. She is amazing. She's based out of Los Angeles, and when she came to WINC, she was already a powerful marketer. She was great at consistently marketing. She had beautiful writing. She had a podcast. She was emailing her list consistently, but she was making next to nothing in her business. And when I got under the hood of her business, it became really clear to me that she wasn't targeting the right customer, that she needed more clarity and some realignment around her customer, and that she didn't have a really solid product offering for her customer yet. So we got clarity around her customer, how to talk to her, what her customer cares about, and we built out a beautiful product offering, or a set of product offerings for her customer. And within 12 months, she went from making barely $20,000 a year to making over $160,000 a year. So she already had all these marketing skills, and the missing link for her was her product development. And when she was able to get that dialed in and put her marketing skills to use in a more effective, systematic, strategic way, her business skyrocketed. She is amazing. And so second to liberating women's confidence, I mean, that's really the biggest transformation I see in the 90-day program. I would say the second biggest transformation inside of WINC's program happens in product development. So here we are now at the bottom of our golden triangle, product development. So let's keep moving. So next up is one that I'm sure you've all been anxiously waiting for. It is step 3 in our engine system, and that is what we at WINC call your marketing pipeline. So, as you may or may not know, in order to be able to sleep at night and consistently fuel your mission for the long haul and reduce those crazy feast and famine cycles, you must be consistently marketing. Consistent is the key word. And I know some of you are probably rolling your eyes right now. And like I said, we have distilled this down to the 4 things that really truly matter. So it is not optional, sorry to say, if you don't like marketing. But we need to be consistently marketing to expose our new customers, new potential customers, to our business on a regular basis. And I suspect that when you see how easy and fun and effective marketing can be, that you're going to start to like it a little bit more. So marketing is not something that we can do when we're just, realize that there's no more customers on the calendar and we're desperate. It's not something we can wait to do until we feel inspired and therefore do it like once a quarter. It's not something that we can do randomly by throwing spaghetti at the wall. Marketing equals money. The number one thing to focus on in your business, there's actually the 2 things to focus on if you are not yet generating enough money, are strategic product development
and developing a marketing pipeline. So we said at the beginning we would learn that those are the two things we need to spend the majority of our time on when we are not yet making enough money. It is product development, and it is here in marketing. Marketing is not optional, and it should not be random. It should not be left to chance. It's really the lifeblood of your business. And so when you build a system for your marketing, you're taking the guesswork out of it. I also want to name that, yes, marketing can be really, really emotional. You're putting yourself out there. All kinds of fun learning comes up for us to explore when we move into marketing. So that's certainly part of this. I don't want to ignore that. And marketing can truly become your best friend. Like I said, when you develop a system around marketing and you take the mystery and the guesswork out of it, it becomes predictable, maybe even enjoyable. And when you all of a sudden are meeting your revenue goals and getting to work with customers that you love and they feel like you read their mind and serve them so deeply, then you will begin to love marketing. So, common problems in the marketing space. So, marketing is simply just sharing your business with people that you can help. And if you are not spending enough time marketing, then you're not letting people know that you exist. And you could be the best in the world at what you do, but if you're trying to do it in a black box, it's very hard to generate consistent sales. So we need a repeatable system that moves people through our sales process of getting to know us. And that's what a marketing pipeline is. So common problems, not spending enough time marketing. Maybe you have developed a plan, but you don't follow it. I'll get to the messaging working in a moment. Number two, or in here it's three, but I'm going to go like it's number two. You don't yet understand what types of marketing are best for your business and your stage of business. There's so many different ways out there to market, and not all of them are right for you, for your stage of business, your size of your business, etc. This is a huge one. And lastly, trying to do too many different types of marketing without any real strategy. So this really limits how well we can do any of them. We have a frantic, chaotic energy where we're trying to do everything. We're spreading ourselves thin, and we're just kind of hoping and praying that something will work. This is not how I recommend building a business, FYI. And then last but not least, your messaging isn't working. I hear women say, like, I've tried marketing, it doesn't work for me, etc., etc. If you're struggling with your messaging, chances are you have more work to do in your product development. It's usually not the words that are the problem, but it's the lack of clarity underneath that. So you've got to get more clear on who you're selling and how you help them, what you help them get, in order to have more magnetic, effective messaging. So that's more of a product development problem disguised as a marketing problem. So moving back to the marketing problems. Biggest one that I see is like women, feeling like they have to do all the things, trying to do every type of marketing that every Facebook ad tells them they should be doing. And this leads to overwhelm, and it leads to exhaustion and feeling like we're not enough. And it certainly doesn't lead to more money in the bank account. So if you're at the beginning of your business or not yet making enough money in your business, I recommend focusing on strategies that capitalize on personal relationships as the quickest way to increase your revenue. So a lot of you arrived here through one of WINC's Facebook ads. And we didn't start running Facebook ads, as I said, until maybe our 6th year in business. Because we have found, and we don't teach that, we don't recommend a lot of social media for women in the early stages of business, because we've found that those types of marketing can really distract a woman from getting to that first 30, 50, 70K. So as I said, this is something that we we cover in depth in our 90-day program, what all the different marketing strategies are and which ones will work best for you, and how to create this airtight marketing pipeline, so that you have a serious, consistent, systematic way of marketing your offerings so that you can get to your revenue goals. But for today, recommendation is to pick no more than 3 types of marketing that you will do and build a strategy around those 3 instead of casting stones in a million different directions. So we want to focus on 3 ways to market and no more. So if you're currently spending a lot of time marketing, but maybe doing too many types of marketing, try reducing your types of marketing and see how that helps. People see so much messaging every day, and it takes a long time for us to actually see something. So the fewer places that you are reaching out to your ideal customers, I believe the better. But again, 1 marketing strategy alone is not enough. So 3 we have found to be a nice magic number. So common problems here in marketing. Solution is what we call your marketing pipeline. So a marketing pipeline is strategic, meaning that it is highly calculated. So we know exactly why we are taking specific actions and encouraging our potential customer to take specific actions. We are taking our customer on a repeatable journey that invites them to come further and further down the road, closer and closer to deciding if they want to work with us. So what we want here with a marketing pipeline is a few focused strategies that we know can lead to sales. We've planned them, we've tested them, we've refined them until you know it works. So it becomes rinse and repeat. It's not like we're recreating the wheel every time we go to do any marketing. So if you are wanting to bring in more money in your business, I cannot stress enough, the answer is marketing pipeline, marketing consistency, marketing strategy. Your revenue is going to be directly proportionate to how much time you spend and the effectiveness of your marketing. So here's another case study from a woman named Marielle Williams. When Marielle came to WINC, she was a waitress. She was making about $300 a month in her business. And she's a very, very talented young woman. And she had a lot of amazing pieces of her business in place. And like I said, very, very talented, beautiful work. And one of the things she was doing was, when she came to WINC, is that she was spending a lot of time on types of marketing that weren't right for her business and for her stage of business. And when she really got how to shift her attention to forms of marketing that were gonna fill her bank account right off the bat in the short term, then like within a few months, she went from $300 a month to $3,000 a month, which is like practically overnight. And we had Marielle come speak at one of our live events this summer. And this was, I guess, 7 years after she had worked with WINC. And she told us she's on track to gross $1.3 million in revenue this year. So she went from $300 a month to $1.3 million in 7 years. And clearly, we can't take full credit for that. And obviously that's a very dramatic story that not every woman is on that trajectory, nor does every woman even want to be on that trajectory. But very inspiring story. She just continues to set higher and higher goals. And we're so excited to have been part of her journey. And here it was in this marketing space that she was able to shift her attention towards the lowest hanging fruit and what was going to bring in the quickest money right away, so that she could quit her job waiting tables and put her full time and energy into building her business. And let me tell you, she grew to really love marketing when she saw the results that it could provide for her financially. Okay, ladies, we have 3 of our 4 engine pieces filled in, and let's just notice here what we've done so far. So here we have our foundation, our clear roadmap of where we want to go financially. We have that full of beautiful product offerings that we know help our ideal customer with a big problem or desire in their life. And then we move to bringing those people towards us. So we develop this system for attracting a steady stream of potential customers. And once we have those amazing people coming to us, the only thing left to do is to sell. So part 4 of our engine is sales. And if you are like a lot of women, you might not love the word sales. As I said before, this system is really crystallized and distilled down to really the only 4 things that matter to start generating consistent revenue as quickly as possible. So the downside to that is that none of these things are really optional. And I know we all, not all, some of us love sales, awesome. The rest of you who don't love sales, I invite you to the possibility you could love to learn to love it a little bit more. But we at WINC call this fear of sales, like a fear of being the green, greedy, oozy sales monster, because we've all been sold to it in like really icky ways or desperate ways, in ways that feel terrible. And so we are scared that if we talk about our business at all, talk about what we charge or make an offer, that suddenly we're going to poof into this green, greedy, oozy sales monster and everyone's going to run away screaming. And this is, clearly very bad for business. As we have said, businesses sell something and successful businesses sell a lot. So if you want to have a successful business that supports you and supports your family and gives to you in meaningful ways, you're going to have to get comfortable about being a saleswoman. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but like I said, if we're avoiding selling, you're literally avoiding money. And so I want to invite you to the possibility that you can become a graceful, helpful, honest, super effective saleswoman, and that it doesn't have to feel weird or desperate or sleazy. So let's look at the common problems in sales. As you could probably guess, number 1 is just this total avoidance of sales and selling. So maybe you have a lot of followers online, but you're scared to make any offers. Maybe you have a sales conversation with a potential customer. And when they ask you what your price is, you quickly say, you know what, I'll email you a proposal, and hang up and take 2 weeks to send them the proposal. Basically, as we've discussed, this is very bad for business. So this is a big space to overcome, to do your internal work, whatever it takes to get more comfortable making offers and believing that you deserve to receive money and that you are not taking people's money, you are deeply helping them, and that this is an exchange of energy. Number 2, I'm going to use kind of a masculine phrase here because it's right for the moment. It's like you just don't really have the tools to close the deal. So some women are really excited to talk about their offerings, but when it comes to the actual selling moment of, well, what's the next step, or what does it cost, and how do I work with you, we clam up or we start to sort of ramble on. And the truth of the matter is, especially if you've been avoiding selling on sort of an energetic, emotional level, you probably haven't learned, there's a lot of strategy to learn in the realm of sales, and having some effective, really compassionate, helpful sales techniques that empower you in the sales process and empower your customer in the sales process can really help increase your sales and just bring a lot more ease into the sales process. And so when we work with women in the 90-day program, we teach several sales techniques that we use inside WINC and that we have learned and modified from our mentors that work really beautifully for us. And it's a mixed bag. You can take what works well for you and what feels good to you and leave what doesn't. Third common problem in sales is that you're just not having enough sales moments, or not enough sales moments with the right people. I remember one of my mentors, it was such a big moment for me when she said to me that, sales isn't personal, it's just a numbers game. And so if you're not having enough sales moments to convert the number of customers you decided that you needed in your revenue model, then you're not going to have enough money in your business. And not having enough sales moments is actually not a sales problem. It is a marketing problem because you're not drawing a big enough pool down your marketing pipeline to have enough qualified potential customers in your selling moments. So not having enough sales moment is actually a marketing problem, and not having enough sales moments with the right people. So let's say you're having lots of sales moments, but they're not buying or they're just not a good fit. Then that is also not really a sales problem. That's more of a marketing and or product development problem. So you haven't gotten clear enough yet about who you help, how you help them, and how to communicate the value of your offering. Last but not least in sales, and this is a really big one. We get so tripped up around sales and scared of selling and avoidant of selling. And so I think under the surface, secretly, when we have this discomfort around sales, we kind of secretly think like, well, if I just focus on being the absolute best at what I do, then I'm not going to need to sell. So there's this secret belief that like, if I'm just good enough, or if I'm just passionate enough, or if my Instagram feed is just pretty enough, then I'm not going to need to sell. The customers are just going to flock to me. And I think this is a very dangerous belief, whether it's a conscious belief or a subconscious belief, because if there are people who have overnight success, like it's very, very, very rare. They're just the like really strange exceptions to the rule. But for the rest of us, it's like no matter how great you are, you need to market and sell. And if you're not marketing and selling and you're just waiting to be good enough, then all of a sudden, like, this becomes deeply tied to our self-worth. And there's this vicious cycle of like, oh, I must not be good enough. And oh, I need to lower my pricing, or oh, I need to go back to school and get another certification. And this keeps us from helping people. Not to mention, it just doesn't feel good. So please don't count on being the exception to the rule and the it girl, and like, don't be waiting for someone else to recognize your amazingness so that you don't have to market and sell. There are ways to market and sell that are systematic and that take a lot of the guesswork out of it, take all of the guesswork out of it, frankly, and that really empower you and your customer. And the great news about sales here too is that if you have the rest of your engine working for you really well, the sales moment becomes so much easier. And I'm going to touch on that again in a moment. But before I do, I want to say, if you really cannot wrap your head around sales in this moment, I think there are really three options when it comes to getting comfortable with sales and selling. Number one is like, get over it. You have a big mission. You have a lot that you want to do in this world. And that if your resistance to sales is the only thing holding you back, let's find a way around it. So do the internal work, learn about sales, find some sales techniques that feel graceful and effective for you. And just sort of decide that that's a piece that you are going to figure out, and it is learnable. Number two option, outsource sales and selling. A lot of people are like, I just want to hire someone to do my sales. Well, yes and no. I mean, obviously, if you have a larger business, you're going to end up moving into a space where you have salespeople. But if you're new in your business, chances are you don't have a big budget to pay salespeople. And I really highly believe that you, as the CEO and the captain of the ship, need to have a deep embodiment, a deep integration of who you help and how you sell to them in order to even train someone else to sell. Because if you don't know how to sell your product, you're not going to be able to teach someone else how to sell your product. And that's going back and getting super duper clear again about who your offering's for, what it helps them get in their lives, what motivates them to spend money, etc., etc. And last but not least, I invite you to like deeply consider if you're really just like, no, marketing and sales is not for me. I'm never going to be able to do it. I never want to do it. I invite you to consider, maybe entrepreneurship is not right for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, being an entrepreneur is suddenly like the it thing, but there are so many beautiful, amazing ways to give your gift. And not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. We are a crazy breed. And it might be that you can give your gifts in a beautiful way through another organization. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's much better to kind of get really honest with ourselves and decide how we want to give our gifts rather than spinning our wheels for years and years, resisting doing the things necessary to have a successful business. So just a little tough love. And I'm going to move to a case study now. This is Noelle Love. She is an acupuncturist and she is so amazing. And when we started working with her, she was making about $2,000 a month. And we got inside her business and mapped out an amazing revenue model and built a marketing pipeline for her. And she hit the ground running with it. And I think she had such a huge, massive shift so quickly. She went from 2,000 to 6,000 a month within 3 months. And I think what created this massive shift for her is that she just took the bull by the horns and took on, imperfectly learning how to have an empowered relationship with sales and selling. And she just got out there and started just selling and letting it be messy until she really became a great saleswoman. So beautiful work from Noelle. And so you can feel now how all these pieces work together. And I think one of the reasons sales can feel bad for us is because there can be desperation in the sales moment. And if you're not getting enough potential customers to your door, you're trying to, pay your rent and buy groceries. There is going to be desperation in the sales moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I will do whatever it takes to get your money. I will do whatever kind of work you want me to do because I need to pay the rent. And so that makes the sales moment uncomfortable. Another thing that makes the sales moment really uncomfortable is if we don't have the right person or we haven't educated that person on the value that we can give them. And so we're in the sales moment and we're feeling like we have to convince them and we have to push them, right? But the beauty of this system is that when we have our whole engine really humming, we've gotten crystal clear on how our products help a very specific person and what kind of value they receive from working with us. And we've really educated them and nurtured them. And we have a pipeline that is designed to bring us enough potential customers that we can get a certain amount of no's and still reach our revenue goals. So when you get to the sales moment with confidence that your products really change people's lives, and that if this particular person isn't a right fit, there is a whole steady stream of more potential customers coming because your marketing pipeline is working so well, then it takes the desperation out of the sales moment. It takes the pushing out of the sales moment. And it simply becomes a conversation about you both in equal power making a decision if there is a collaboration to be had between the two of you. So they're trying to figure out if it's a fit and you're trying to figure out if it's a fit too. And if you don't know for sure that you can help the person, then you can tell them that. And you can help them in full integrity say, I don't think this is the right fit. I think you should try A, B, and C, because you're not dependent on the sale to pay for your life. And your marketing pipeline you can lean into your marketing pipeline to bring you that steady stream of customers. So here is our full engine. And I hope you can feel how these 4 components boil down to like really all that matters to make a business successful and to have a steady stream of revenue and to have our business really humming and working really well. We have to have all 4 of these interrelated parts working together. So in just a moment, I'm going to show you how you can use this system as a diagnostic tool to help you troubleshoot what might be going wrong inside your business. It's really cool and powerful. We're going to get to it in a moment. But meanwhile, I would love to give you some information about how we work with women in depth in case that is something you want to explore. So at WINC, we offer a live 90-day business training program 2 to 3 times a year. This is not a do-it-yourself video course. We are live together every week in real time. I'm getting to know you and your business, helping you troubleshoot as you move through and integrate the material. And you have the chance to be in community with an amazing group of women every step of the way. Building a business is totally learnable, and that's exactly what we teach you. We have had over 400 women say yes to our 90-day program, many of which believed they were not business-minded or numbers-minded or inclined towards marketing, and they come out the other side totally transformed. So main benefits you're going to get from the program: you're going to get laser focused on generating revenue. Everything in our program is designed to help you build an ironclad sales system that's going to help you start generating more revenue as quickly as possible. We do this from a place of purpose and passion. Of course, we work with very heart-centered, soul-centered women. You're also going to get airtight strategies to consistently bring you a steady stream of customers so that you are resourced to help more people and so that you never have to worry about where your next customer is coming from. So let's zoom in and look with a little more detail on what you're actually going to get inside the program. First, you're going to get a really powerful and profitable business model so that you wake up every day knowing how to drive your revenue up. You're going to start with a comprehensive analysis of your current revenue reality so you are more financially empowered and get more clear about what you need to manifest financially. You're going to have an Excel blueprint that helps you forecast and have a roadmap for how your business is going to generate money over time, how it's going to grow over time. You're going to build a strategic set of products and or services that finds that beautiful alignment between your passion and purpose and the customers you're meant to serve. And we help women build strategic products that can help them get to 6 figures and beyond, designed with your ideal lifestyle in mind. So this isn't just about hustling and grinding. We're really taking a holistic approach, and your strategic products are at the heart of that. You're also going to get a crystal clear picture of exactly who your customer is and exactly how to talk to them. This makes marketing and networking so much easier, content creation so much easier. You're going to come away with a customized step-by-step marketing pipeline that is going to make marketing obvious, if not even enjoyable. And it's going to be rinse and repeat so that you have a steady stream of customers you're really excited to work with coming your way. You're going to learn a lot of graceful sales techniques that are things you can implement in your business that will feel good to you and to your customers so that you can have confidence and integrity in the sales process. And last but not least, you are going to have the pleasure of stepping into a lifelong community of amazing entrepreneurial sisters. They're going to give you great feedback. They're going to be cheering you on every step of the way. Our community is amazing. And we see women forging relationships that continue long after the program is over. So above all else, and we see this again and again, and I just love seeing this transformation, you will go from being confused in business to being super clear, strategic, and savvy as a businesswoman, as the captain of your own ship. I think your brain actually changes in this process so that we learn to think strategically about business. So not only are you going to evolve your current business or launch your current business vision, but you can apply the engine system over and over to every evolution of your business moving forward into the future, which is totally priceless. Now, I want to share some stats with you. We track a lot of data inside WINC. We're kind of nerdy about that. And we send out an exit assessment and ask lots of questions, one of which is like, point blank, was the program worth what you paid for it? And 92, it's actually a little more than 92% of women said yes, or off the charts yes. 97.5, that is the percent of women who said the program met or exceeded their expectations. So very proud of that. You can read hundreds of testimonials on our website if you go to our praise page, and you can see really clearly the types of results that women are getting and the types of businesses they are in to get a real sense of like, would this work for me? So let's take a look at the nuts and bolts of WINC's 90-day business training program. So as I mentioned before, this program is live. What this means is that we are meeting in Zoom every Monday over 3 months. So we actually meet for 11 Mondays. 5 of those are live training webinars where I am teaching you a section of the engine. And then on the alternating weeks, I am answering all your questions and we are workshopping your homework, and they're very interactive. We also include all the spreadsheets and worksheets for you. Every week you're going to have some homework that is going to help you take the training content and actually integrate it into your business. You're going to get video recordings of all webinars so that you can, of course, catch up if you have to miss one. And also you can go back to the content again and again. You get lifetime access to those recordings when you need to refresh or up-level your business in the future. We do weekly surveys so that you can track what's working in your business, and it also gives me insight into where you are in the process. We have a private Facebook group where you'll be able to have 24/7 community with the women, your cohorts going through the program with you, as well as past students. You will have the option to choose an accountability partner. We highly recommend choosing an accountability partner. And we recommend that you meet with them once a week, thereabouts, to stay on track with the content and have a sounding board and another layer of emotional and community support. We also have a few bonuses inside the program. Number 1 is 3 in-depth pre-assignments that you get as soon as your registration is complete. These pre-assignments are going to help you dive into your revenue reality so that you're really clear what's happening with the money in your life right now, which I think is essential if we are going to build a business. The second is getting to know your soulmate customer. So finding that deep alignment between what you're on the planet to do and who needs you and is willing to pay for your services or products. And last but not least, we have another pre-assignment on systems and time management, really powerful tools and techniques you can use to be more organized and more efficient in the way that you work. All of those are pre-recorded and delivered, as I said, as soon as your registration is complete, before we even begin the live program. We also do a bonus closing webinar. So this will be our 11th live webinar. And I love doing the closing webinar because it's a beautiful chance for us to come together and set our intentions and action items for the 3 to 6 months after the program ends. So I'm going to help you crystallize the work you did inside the program and make sure you're leaving the container of the 90 days with a really clear set of priorities to carry you through for the next 3 months. This is such an immersive experience. This program is so in-depth and so transformative for so many women. I am honored to be able to teach this content and love the opportunity to work with you all in depth. And I've said before, and I'm sure I'll say again, The big thing about this program is that I am not going to hand you a fish. I am going to teach you how to fish, and you are going to come out the other side a real savvy, strategic CEO who knows exactly what she needs to do to drive her revenue up. Now, if this is all sounding interesting to you, here's what you're going to do next. Click the button below this video to visit our program page and learn all about the 90-day program. So all the details you could possibly need, including dates and calendar for upcoming programs, lots of testimonials, more detail around the content and the formats, and of course, pricing and how to register. So if you are interested, go ahead and click below. All right, ladies, I am excited to share with you now how to use the engine of your business revenue system as a diagnostic tool. As we are going through this cycle around this golden triangle, we end up gathering a lot of data at the end here in our selling moments that can then give us valuable information that help us refine and go back around. So I want to talk about some things that might be presenting themselves as sales problems that actually indicate a problem somewhere else in your engine. So let's say, for example, you're not having very many sales moments, right? So you're just not getting enough sales. Well, that is not a sales problem. That means there is likely something going wrong in your marketing pipeline. For example, perhaps you're not marketing enough to get enough exposure that you're getting enough potential customers to your sales moment. Okay, so that's one indication where when we come to the sales moment, we're getting data to help us troubleshoot where we can improve our engine. Another example, let's say you're having plenty of sales moments, either few or many, but people are saying no to working with you. Everyone has a different reason why they don't want to buy your product. They've got excuses, etc., etc. If that is the case, that is also not a sales problem. More likely, you've got something going wrong in your product development around clarifying the problem you solve or the desire you fulfill and being really clear about the solution that you provide. And so if you're unclear on this problem, desire, and solution, that lack of clarity is probably showing up in your marketing and how you talk about the value of your product. So another quote unquote sales issue that's not actually a sales problem. Let's say you are having lots of sales moments and lots of people are saying yes. Yay, that's going to be awesome. But let's say in this example, you're still barely getting by financially. Well, what this indicates to me is that you have a revenue model problem, meaning you didn't thoroughly crunch the numbers to see that your business's products or services, with the amount of time you have and the price point, etc., can actually get you where you want to go financially. So this is why it is so crucial to do a revenue model like ASAP, maybe tomorrow, so that you are not spending months, if not years, building out a business only to find when it's full that it's still not filling your bank account. Okay, we do not want that to happen. So that's another indication of a symptom that shows itself in sales, but it's actually not a sales problem. Okay, last example. Let's say that everything falls apart for you in your selling moments. So let's say your big selling moment is a phone call, and all of a sudden you find yourself giving your offer away for free or at a huge discount, or simply avoiding talking about payment altogether, maybe talking about the weather, or saying, oh, I'll email you a proposal, and quickly hanging up, right? Then likely there are one of two things happening, and maybe a combination of two things happening. likely there is some internal emotional stuff going on for you around money and self-worth, which is really common. Maybe something about your relationship with money and some disempowered beliefs around money. So it could be that. And it could also be that you just simply don't have enough knowledge and training in the realm of sales to have some just tried and true sales techniques that feel really good to you, that feel really gentle and compassionate to your customer, but that help them make a decision. So if everything falls apart in your sales moment, it could be the internal stuff. It could also just be you could stand to learn some sales techniques to help you through that decision-making process and help you through that awkward moment of giving your pricing, etc., etc. So this is how to use the engine of your business revenue system as a diagnostic tool. There's lots more examples we can use, but what I love so much about this system is that you can be constantly evolving through refining and tracking your results so that your business is getting better every day rather than you having feeling like you have to recreate the wheel every time you try to get a new customer. Ladies, thank you so much for being here today. I am so grateful. I hope you learned a ton of things you can implement in your business right now. And if WINC and our business training are resonating with you, I encourage you to click below to check out our 90-day business training program. This is where you would get to work with me, with your sisters in our community, to implement the engine of your business revenue from the ground up. So Rome was not built in a day, and it takes time and effort to implement everything that is inside this system. And so I hope you'll consider the program, and thank you so much once again for being here today. And I look forward to seeing more of you in the WINC community. Bye-bye.